For me, getting into esports was a bit of an accident, I suppose. We were all, kids. As kids, we all loved playing Smash Brothers, whatever generation. It was always that fun party game that everybody would be willing to play. And just like any other group, one kid happened to be the best in their group. He can take on the world, beat everyone in the, no one could touch them. So I sought out tournaments, and back then we were all quite scrubby, but there were still some tournaments back in the day, and I quickly had my eyes opened to not only the crazy players out there, but just how big the gap was between skill levels, and I just couldn't wait. I love the game so much, I just couldn't wait to be one of those players who could just go anywhere and beat anyone, travel the world. It appealed to me so tremendously. I was one of the, I guess, more fortunate 12-year-olds who didn't come up with the absolutely cringe tag, like maybe like a Mewtwo King or something. But it was just some 12-year-old trying to make an AOL screen name, super nerd, played a bunch of JRPGs, threw some buzzwords together, and happened to get Bladewise. My favorite tournament moment was probably, I believe it was 2009, Genesis 1, when Armada came over, and not only was the international scene seen as like pretty weak, but also Peach was never even in contention for winning anything ever. So not only did it open our eyes that there's so much more to learn about the game, if some kid in his room with his brothers can become the best in the world or near it, then we'll all have a lot to look at. And not only that, it was for my character, so like just the horizons broadened so dramatically overnight with what is possible and what I've been lacking. So not only that, it was the energy in the room was remarkable, and I've never felt anything like that where everybody was, Peach Puff. How that's not that supposed to be that exciting, but everybody was. The room was electric. We couldn't believe what we were seeing. I play a ton of games, whenever I can. I would suppose the most hours I probably have is Civilization. I love the Civilization game. Civilization 5 is the one I love the most. I put a ton of hours in that, but I'll play anything. I'll play JRPGs, shooters, online, offline. I'll play adventure games, platformers. Like my backlog is too ridiculous that I can't even, I wish I had more time, but I would say Civilization is the one that I love the most after Melee. One thing that I picked up in the last few years, ever since being married, is I do a lot of cooking. I really enjoy cooking. It's hard to do so many things like play Melee, work, and be married, find time to cook, but it's one of the things I enjoy, and I think I've gotten pretty good at it. Probably just be a huge nerd in other things, anime and video games and movies and TV series that are on backlog now that, I love Melee too much that I can't quite get to all of them. So one of the toughest challenges is, for a player like me who's been in the scene for 13 years, is so many things I learned that succeeded for years and years and years. It's hard to let go of those things when players get better, they adapt to that thing. Sometimes that thing would have worked, but you've been training yourself not to do the thing. It's really hard to let go of some of the things that used to work all the time. I would love to be able to play more and travel more and even net play more, but I would say just playing the best players in my region as much as I possibly can the weeks leading up to any major. That's what I find to be best, is pushing yourself as hard as possible. Just get yourself in the mindset that you can't take any play off. You have to take everyone seriously. Well, it's an incredible time. To get into the scene. There's tons of streamers, there's tons of YouTube tutorials. For any character, the resources are incredible right now. Far greater than anything I would have imagined back when I started. So I would recommend finding a local Smash Fest or a local tournament. Everyone that I've experienced is super welcoming, and of any skill level. And the great part about the game is it's incredibly fun at every skill level. You can be totally new to the game, and there's still incredibly cool looking things you can do, and that's part of why the game's lived so long. at every skill level, you can do things that are super cool. And that just encourages you to get better, to add more super cool things you can do. So I just recommend finding a local scene. There's lots of Smash Fests and tournaments, lots of weeklies going on everywhere. And they've been very welcoming from what I've seen. That question somewhat irks me because being the person who enjoys cooking that I do, I like pineapple on pizza, but the reason that it irks me is that it shows how non-adventurous people are. That should be the furthest thing from weird to someone's mind. Yeah, you don't have to like it, but there's 10,000 times weirder things I've put on pizza, my own pizza that I made before, far weirder than any fruit. That it shouldn't, I see it as it should be a non-issue because whether you don't have to like it, but that shouldn't be the weirdest thing you would think of go on pizza. So that's how I view the pineapple on pizza issue. Hamburgers. And Marvel. I've actually not played either. I'll just say PUBG. Coke. Cats. Goku. Mario. Batman. Chocolate. SpongeBob. Pixar. McDonald's.